My views are very, very positive. I'm actually very excited about sustainability because it makes common sense. It really makes sense that if we don't take care of how we do things, it can have an impact on the future. And also what's lovely about it is that it's actually quite futuristic. It does invite us to look at the present as well as what we've done in the past, but essentially it's innovative and it looks at the future and how we can do things so that we actually keep the world and its people in place. If we as AngloGold Ashanti are careless about our environment where we operate and we do not take care of the process of mining and how mining does, in a sense, have an impact on the physical world, we stand a chance of creating quite a bit of damage, not only to the environment, but the people who live off the land. And so we have to make sure that we explore in a responsible way, in a sustainable way, but also when a mine closes, we close the mine in a way that is not going to damage the environment and the people who live off that environment. I think AngloGold Ashanti has made considerable progress in this area. And I think there is also evidence that we have made progress because we have had generally pretty positive feedback on some of the steps we have taken to address sustainability. Our health and safety, for us, safety has been a central strategic issue in the company, where although we have had fatalities in the last couple or 3 years, generally the state of safety in the company has improved. Your own work in health has made a huge difference to the way in which we address occupational health in the company. We have also not only done that in the company, but we've also done quite a lot in our communities through the tuberculosis project that we've done, the malaria project that we've done, and demonstrated that our interest is not just with our own staff, but also with the communities who live in the mines, in the mining areas of our jurisdictions. I think for the environment, because we have it on our agenda, we discuss it every quarter when we meet as a board, as a committee. Our staff is obliged to tell us what's going on, both with dealing with the tailings in our mines, the water issues in our mines, and generally the closure of some of the mines we have. So I think there has been a steady progress, and it's beginning to show some impact. Our biggest challenge is artisanal mining and illegal mining, not just for AngloGold Ashanti, but for the entire mining industry. We have been very good with human rights, but I think there are still some aspects from our security side which can be improved around making sure that we do not violate the human rights of both communities in the communities in which we mine, but also people who are illegal miners. They still have the right to live. You know, we are the social conscience of the institution. We are the conscience of it, so that when we see that there is not enough being done with localization, or we feel that there is a discrepancy in pay, or we see that there are other practices that compromise human rights and fair practice, we have the wherewithal to make that visible to the company and its management and its executives so that they fix things. Our focus is internal, but it is largely external also. That's the other thing about our committee. In other words, whilst the institution may be concerned about its financial viability, we are concerned about the communities out there and how mining is impacting on their lives. Making sure that we comply with laws, we comply with regulations in the jurisdictions in which we operate. And we don't end up destroying the reputation of this company. So I think to the extent that our focus is more external, looking at the environments in which we operate, looking at the communities in which we operate, making sure that we comply with the legislation and the regulations in which we operate. It gives us a responsibility that is beyond just mining gold and making gold. Having said that, I do not want to give the impression that the two things are separate. If we don't have our license to operate, we can't dig the gold. And I think by being socially responsible, we're giving ourselves a license to operate and actually mine the gold. In South Africa, the industry has gone through difficulties, and but AngloGold Ashanti has faced them head-on. We have also some challenges outside in some of our African operations. But again, I think the management and the executive has demonstrated that they have the courage and they have the wherewithal to deal with the problems that we have. I'm an optimist by nature. And so mining is part of our DNA in South Africa. And I think the solutions actually lie within the companies, within the sector. Our political environment right now is a bit unstable. I think a lot of investors like to have predictable political environments in order for them to support us. And to the extent that the government will sort itself out and actually focus on its development plan, it could give us the security that we need as an industry, and not just mining, everywhere actually, all sectors. So from a citizen's point of view, I'm very optimistic. From a member of the board's point of view, I'm also very optimistic. But obviously one's optimism also has to be realistic. One has to note what are the things that help us and what are the things that hinder us in moving the company forward.